Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 322. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
It's finally here. We've hit summer.
It's officially here. We're officially hitting sweats. Sweat, not sweat. Sweat.
Yeah, sweat-inducing weather.
Heat, shorts, and low-top sneakers. It's here.
I don't know about you. And I've been wearing the low tops. I've been wearing the shorts. I've been wearing the tees.
That's because you're a Viking. You're a Viking. You. It could be a blizzard outside.
All right. No. Hold up. You mean to tell me it hasn't been 80, 90 degrees over this last month?
No, not consistently. No.
When it is, are you rocking shorts?
Maybe for me, because I was in Jamaica.
No, wait a minute. Right? When you were here,
not here,
and it was 80 degrees, were you rocking shorts or were you not rocking shorts?
First of all, when it was 80 degrees, it still didn't feel like 80 degrees.
Oh, it did, Dan. I don't know where you were living. I don't know where you were living.
I don't know where you were.
You were not. You were not in the same time zone.
You're a Viking. I tell you, you're a Viking. No way. It was 80 degrees and windy, so it didn't feel like 80 degrees.
Yeah, one day.
It felt
most of the time.
60 degrees.
Most of the time, it's been shorts weather. So I'm just cruising right into summer, man. Right into summer.
It was shorts when I was in the Caribbean. I was in Jamaica.
Well, it better be shorts when you're down there. It was shorts up here too, though.
Well, first of all, if it's not shorts while I'm in if it's not short weather while I'm in Caribbean, that means a certain place froze over.
HE double hockey sticks.
Or if that didn't freeze over, climate change is real.
I mean, climate change is real. We know that. The scientists have proven it.
Didn't they say that Antarctica, which is like the coldest place on the planet, right, be like a tropical island back in the dinosaur age?
It's possible. Yeah. It's possible. That's true. I wouldn't necessarily doubt it. I mean, climates go through all sorts of changes throughout the ages based on various factors. So
the Sahara Desert used to be a tropical jungle, right? At one point,
and it used to have a lot more. Yeah, it used to have a lot more
vegetation.
Vegetation, water. I mean, it's all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah. See, so just like Assassin's Creed, you listen to our podcast. We'll give you some historical context.
Oh, that's where you. I was like, where are you going with this? Just like Assassin's Creed, we're gonna stab somebody on the street. I'm like, no. Sorry. My mind was in a different place, Dan. I'm sorry. I'm all about the hidden blades.
All right. Well, unlike how I like to play video games, in reality, I would do stealth because I'm not going in blazing, just saying screw it, right? Like in real life. So I would be in real life. I will be Assassin's Creed, but
wait.
Games, I would be.
That means you're still going to murder people. You're just going to do it more discreetly. It's still bad.
Yeah, we're ignoring that part. We're ignoring that part. That part we're going to ignore. We're just
Dan's about to do some crimes, folks. We may have an opening here at Rated G for a new host, a new co-host. So submit your applications now. Get them in. All right, they will be reviewed, and we will get back to you within 2 to 4 weeks.
I already made a crime. I stole the hearts. Out of the everybody who voted for Super Mario Brothers 3 as the better Mario game. When I showed them the IGN list, the IGN top 100 that had Super Mario World. If you're watching videos, right behind me, Super Mario World, number two, right behind Zelda Breath of the Wild, number 2 of best games of all time.
All right. So a little bit of context here. If you watch our other show, Saturday Morning Retro, there was a little bit of heat.
Listen.
There was a little bit of heat towards the end of the episode because I was talking about a very particular game. Let them go listen to the listen to the episode. A Desert Island classic, and Dan was a little bit salty because his game was beneath Super Mario Brothers 3 on a particular list. So,
that was an outdated list. We're talking about a list that was made less than a year ago.
We don't need to rehash it. Listen. The facts are the facts, and it is what it is.
That's all I'm saying. Just like.
Oh, go ahead.
Facts are the facts. Just like, The Boys on Amazon. Right, I just finished episode 6. Came out. I don't know if you watched The Boys.
I have.
Superheroes.
Love The Boys. Are you up to date on it? Because I'm up to date. I may be like one episode behind. Okay.
It was. I'm not gonna lie. Episode 6, the best episode ever in The Boys. It starts off weird.
I mean, they're all pretty nutty this season.
No. Episode 6, which is the latest one that just came out. The beginning of the episode. Definitely weird. It's definitely weird. But towards the end, we finally get what we were waiting for or at least a glimpse of it. And it was the best episode.
No, there's a lot of things we've been waiting for.
Well, I'm just teasing. I know it's a lot of things we've been waiting for, and one of them we got.
And for anybody who hasn't seen The Boys yet, what the hell are you doing? Watch that show. The whole conceit is, what if superheroes were dicks? That's the show, and it's amazing.
What if superheroes were like regular people, kind of?
Yeah, right. Like
power insecurities. Letting power go to the head. Not the first one. That wasn't the first one. What was the show that was like PlayStation 4 exclusive that came out every Tuesday?
Oh God, I don't even. That show was like the precursor to The Boys. I
know it used to be a comic book too.
I remember
that show was awesome.
I remember the commercials for it. Nobody's talking about that show anymore.
That show was awesome. That show was awesome.
I'm sure you've never talked about it though.
I did during the time when we were.
Not anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go. Go look it up.
The only thing that killed that show was that it was a PS4 exclusive. It should have just been on TV. Like Netflix. If it was on Netflix, they would have had like 3 or 4 seasons. It had 2 seasons. They would have had 3 or 4 seasons.
Because they didn't really have. They didn't really have the infrastructure to get that out there. I mean, you had to. I mean, could you get it on like PlayStation TV or PlayStation Now or whatever?
It was called Powers.
Right. It was. But like, did you have to have a PS4? Or could you get it on like PS TV?
No. You had to have PS4 with the PlayStation Plus membership.
Oh, so you had to spend $60 to get this one show. I mean, yeah.
I know they tried to make having PS Plus like more, right?
Sure, and I get that. It's an added value.
Not with one show, right?
No, you need a lot more content. You need at least like 7 or 8. quality shows on there. Yeah, it makes it kind of tough.
But I will say, if you like The Boys, Power was the precursor. Powers.
Because there is the other show, Power, right? The one with 50 Cent.
Yeah. Oh, it stars.
Yeah.
Power, or Powers was the precursor to The Boys. It's the same. It was the same exact thing, except for Butcher was an actual cop.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Like, Butcher's kind of a vigilante. Yeah.
He's like a vigilante. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That's enough about historical context and TV shows. Mm-hmm. Dave, we have an awesome show this week. Coming up, we're going to talk about next year's Summer Clash between E3 and Summer Game Fest, right? Like, that's actually going to be a thing, and I'm pretty excited about it. And we're going to talk about Sega's new game that they just announced, and people aren't excited about that. But before we get into any of that, let's begin the show with notable games coming out next month of July. Mm-hmm. And as always, all the games from release dates and, all the games we're going to talk about, I pulled from Game Informer, okay? Their video game release date list. So if anything is incorrect, you can blame them because I did not fact check.
There you go.
Not a lot of games, not a lot of notable games.
Well, it is the dry season.
Not a lot of notable games.
All right, Christmas 2 is over. Christmas 1 is yet to come. We are in that weird period where everyone's off from school, so everyone's playing their big games that they got for Christmas or their birthday or whatever, and they're getting into it. You don't really see a lot of new stuff come out now.
Well, we kick off July with the Klonoa series, right? It's coming back. The full series. Those games are pricey. The originals are pricey.
They're all of them are super pricey. Yeah.
Coming out July 8th for the PS5, PS4, all the Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, funny enough, and PC. No mention of Stadia.
Yeah. Now, this is the perfect release. Quality games that go for a high price tag, and it's now out on modern platforms. This is the stuff I want to see, because this allows everybody to play it, more or less, right? Even if you have a previous generation console, if you have a PC, doesn't matter. You can play these games, and that's the thing, right? This is game preservation at its finest. Everybody gets to play. Or
I'm always a little. I'm not dumbfounded. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm always curious to see what happens, right? With the retro scene when a collection of old games are put out, because it's either going to do one of two things. Either the price is going to go down, right? I forgot which game it was. I was just looking at it a couple of weeks ago. There was they had a collection came out and the price went down when the collection came out, because everyone can play the game. They don't need to spend all this money on it. They can play the game on modern consoles, or it'll drive the price up because the interest in it. People want to buy it. People want to have it. People want to get their original.
Honestly, I think it's more of the latter than the former. Because I think back in the day, like the 2000s to like the mid 2010s, like online and streaming and all that stuff, it wasn't as readily available, and these clone consoles, and it's a completely different landscape than it was back in the day. And back in the day, people just wanted to play the game, and they didn't necessarily have access to it, and then some games became very expensive because of that. And that's just kind of how it was. Either it was a low print run, or everybody was holding onto their copies. Not a lot of people were selling them. But now you have collectors and speculators, right? And they do essentially the same thing. They want the game and they're willing to pay for it, or they want the game and they're willing to hold on to it until somebody's willing to pay for it. So because it's not the same, right? It's not the physical copy necessarily, or even if it is, it's a completely different version of it. And everybody wants the original.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like some games, I can only. I'll use me as an example, right? Like I was out of games for a while, so a lot of games I missed. So I don't necessarily know that they exist or how good they were. So I don't have that nostalgia for it. And it now comes out in a collection, and I'm playing it, and I like it. And I said, you know what? I want this game, and I'm willing to pay the money for it. I'm going out there and looking for it. And the price is going up a little bit because
that
now
too.
People like me want to have it, want to buy the original because they have the original hardware.
Right.
And they want to play it on the original hardware too, especially to compare and contrast or just to have.
So. I mean, I think it's that too. Honestly, though, it's a good thing because more people get to play it. That's all I really care about.
That's always like the goal.
Yeah. I mean, like, I would love to have a low price to be able to have a copy for my collection, but if it means that more people can play it, then that's that's what I would drive for.
Then we have Stray coming out July 19th. PS5, PS4, and PC. That's the cat RPG, cyberpunk RPG game.
It's the third-person cat simulator.
That we saw. It was the cyberpunk cat RPG simulator that we saw at PlayStation's State of Play.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation console exclusive?
Yes.
Okay.
But don't worry, we have Switch games for you. July 22nd, we got Live Alive coming out on Switch.
It's a weird one. A lot of people were dumbfounded because it never came out in America. It's a weird RPG where you play through different characters throughout time.
Well,
and
now it's out in America.
Yeah.
Well, it will be.
Yeah, it's got that Octopath Traveler 2D HD style, which I'm not really crazy about, but it is what it is. I may get this. I don't know. I'm debating.
Well, the game you should get is the biggest game of the month in my view, coming out at the end of the month, July 29th, for the Switch, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's so big that it is the only Nintendo Direct we had this month.
Yep. A lot of people were a little upset.
Xenoblade Chronicles. So, I'm probably going to pick this up. I have all the other games, so
okay.
I'll pick it up and give it a shot. I gave the other one, I gave Xenoblade 2 a shot.
It's the same as the other Xenoblades. Surprise. I haven't even played it yet, and I know it's the same. So, I'm just trying to prepare you that you may not get through more than a couple hours of this game.
And you know what? That's why I'm not gonna get special. All right, that's it for games that are coming out in the future. But I want to talk about a game that came out in the past, a long time ago, that people still. I mean, there was nothing they can't get this game running on. I swear, and that's the original Doom. Okay, people can't. I feel like every 6 months or every 3 to 4 months we talk about they have Doom running on something else, right? So now they have Doom not only running on a regular old scanner that has that has the whole
it's got a little big screen. little touch screen to kind of
touch screen. But they have the original Doom playing on a Lego brick, a small Lego.
Sure.
In like a Lego set. That's crazy.
So the Lego brick, I mean, all of these are dumb, more or less. They're just like, can I go ahead and do it? And some of them are fake. The guy who did it, I think in the Lamborghini, faked it. He did not have that, and I was very upset by that. These are, I believe, real, but the screen is so tiny with the Lego brick, and it's got like the frosted glass or the frosted plastic on it. So you can't even really see it. Like, you know it's running, but
you can barely see it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Yeah, and the scanner, like I looked up the scanner thing, and it runs on a version of Windows CE. So it was just a matter of kind of porting that over or getting it to work and then having the controls of the scanner work, which is like, there is some work involved, but Windows CE isn't too different than a regular version of Windows. So, but yeah, man. I mean, people will get Doom on anything. They'll get it on McDonald's, McDonald's POS machines, ATM machines, pregnancy tests. Hopefully, someone gets it hooked up to a supercar at some point in time.
Babe, are we pregnant? Are we having a baby? Hold up, I got these monsters to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Well, right now
I gotta get through. We gotta go to level 1-1, and then we'll figure out at the end of the level what the stats are. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? How many kids we having?
Well, just to say that's an actual real thing nowadays. Talking about being pregnant, depending on what state you live in nowadays. But we're not gonna get into any of that.
Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not. We're a video game show. We're a happy video game show, Dan. Let's.
So sometimes it spills out.
I know.
Sometimes it spills out. But Dave.
But I feel you.
But Dave, as we always try to start the show, and this also sometimes spills out in the beginning of the show, but we epically fail.
Nice.
What have you been playing?
Oh, well, the game that I nominated for Game of the Half Year, right? The Heroes in a Half Shell.
Last week?
TMNT Shredder's Revenge. I beat it 2 times over. And I am, I'm just kind of going through with all the characters. I unlocked Casey Jones. I beat it with him. He's max powered. I'm going through as Raphael right now, trying to get him to level 10. It's just fun.
Did you master all the moves, all the move sets? Like,
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the, the rising upper attack and...
I've been watching like YouTube people playing it, and they're just like, I'm button mashing. Screw it. Like, they're not strategically using a lot of the different moves. I just want to know if you're a button masher or you mastered the moves.
No. Now, I will say the rising upper and the jumping attack are probably some of the best moves that you can do, because you can just juggle them and get them up and then knock them down. Sometimes you got to do that like slide tackle move. Some of the guys that have like the Morning Star, right? And they're kind of throwing that out there. Or the guys who have the little plunger guns. You got to slide underneath their projectiles, and then you can hit them, and then you can get them in a combo. So, love that game though. It's fantastic, so good. I want more. I want more characters. I want more stages. I need some DLC. I'm itching. But yeah. How about you?
Well, been playing more Marvel Spider-Man. That's like my go-to when I don't know what to play, and I get into these weird stages where I don't know what I want to play, but I want to play something. So I just go into Marvel Spider-Man. It's like the predominant game I own digitally because it came with the physical disc, the digital code for the remastered version for the PS5. So I've just been playing that and clearing out. I'm like 87% with that game so far.
Yeah, there you go.
Because like every neighborhood has like 5 or 10 different attacks from different enemies, right? It's either street corners or rooftops, and it randomly generates. So when you're flying, or not flying, but you're like web slinging around. So I already completed Uptown, so Harlem is completely safe.
Right.
So now I'm downtown, just web slinging. Right. Whenever I hear, we have an issue over here, the prison break, so I got to go back, So I've just been playing that. That's been like my mindless thing, just to go play.
Nice.
I'm at level 50 with Spider-Man.
There you go.
Level 50.
You're maxed out, I guess, right? Isn't that the max level?
I have no idea. I haven't been keeping track of any of the levels.
Okay.
So I just know yesterday it said, you've hit level 50. And I was like, okay, I guess so.
Nice.
And surprisingly, I've been testing out PS Plus Premium with some old school games, and I've been playing John Wick. Well, I've been testing out with some old school games that I may or may not use this everyone in retro. So I don't want to talk about those just yet. Okay. But I have been giving some time to John Wick Hex. I downloaded that. I've been playing that. That is sort of like a strategy game, tactical strategy game with John Wick.
Now, how are you liking that game? Is it good?
I'm still trying to get used to it. I only spent an hour in it last night. I'm still trying to get used to it, but because it's John Wick, it has like there's no real story. Or at least I haven't got to that part. But like, you have to go around and like hide and shoot and try to sneak around and tackle them. Right? Because if you run out of ammo, then that's it, right? Like you have to go and like sneak and tackle them. So the whole point is to get from point A to point B on the board. Right.
Okay.
And the cool thing about this game, the thing that like got me, is once you get to the end, you will see a replay of everything in the art style.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Right, like John Wick is sneaking around the car. He shoots. Oh, somebody shot him. He sneaks around the corner. Like everything that you did, you get to see like a replay at the end once you make it to the exit. So
nice.
That's the cool thing about it. I liked it so much. I actually bought the physical edition on GameStop. When you listen to this, it will be over, so it makes no sense for me to put a PSA out. But GameStop is having a blowout sale on a lot of games, like 10, I got $10 off, so I took it.
Nice.
Through it.
Okay, yeah,
so I'm liking this game.
I appreciate that they didn't go with the first-person, third-person shooter, and they went with
something different.
They went with the hex grid strategy game. That was really kind of cool. So I gotta give it a shot. I don't have PlayStation Plus yet, or I just don't. Period. I don't know if I'm gonna get it because it is an extra whatever for the service. So I'm debating.
Well, it's $60 or $60 for the year for the normal one.
Well, I'm paying for the regular. Yeah.
You don't have the You don't have
the plus
premium.
The premium version, yeah. But I think they made a physical for it, so I can just pick it up.
No, they did. I picked it up for the PS4 because it's hard to find the Xbox or even a brand new Switch version nowadays. So I got it brand new for the PS4.
Yeah, all right.
Which I don't need to open because it's on my PS5. Download it.
Yeah.
So all right, why don't we take a break? And when we come back, we get into the top gaming news of last week.
All right.
And we're back. All right, Dave. Let's get in there. Top gaming news of last week. After E3 season, I'm gonna say E3 season, right?
It
news is a little news isn't doesn't flow as much. Not a lot of news out there, right? I always try to make it interesting during the summer times. We have 5 items on the list. No, I want to say lead story, but we will start with an article from Polygon that I thought was super interesting that we could sort of, talk about. And that is the organizers of E3 and Summer Games Fest are gearing up for a head-on collision or clash, as the article said. And I thought this was super interesting because I didn't think about it that way. E3 did, E3, we didn't have it this year. They announced they will be back next year. Jeff Keighley, not aligned with the ESA anymore, not, doing post shows with E3, doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And it's always weird to talk about E3 because a lot of the companies, the heads of companies, like Phil Spencer, I take as an example, is on the board of the ESA, right? They don't run E3, or they don't run the ESA, I should say, but they're on the board. They can nominate the people who do run it.
Well, they're making decisions, Well,
they're making decisions on the people who run the company, like Jeff Keighley, Jeff Keighley, Reggie. Reggie was on the board of GameStop. He didn't run GameStop, but the board members, they make decisions. They make the decision of who's going to run GameStop.
Sure. So I mean, they're choosing the right person to make the right decisions, right? They're installing somebody in there.
Thank God we are the board members of Rated G. And
a little behind the scenes over here, yeah.
And we installed ourselves.
That's right. We make it real easy. Very short boardroom meetings. Do they make any decisions, or is it all just personnel based?
It's mostly they're there, like a board member is there to do checks and balances for the people who run the show, to run the company on behalf of the shareholder. Right.
So if a CEO does some crazy stuff and they're acting a fool and they're bad for the company, they're going to go, this guy needs to go, right?
I'll give you real life events. I'm not going to talk about if it's right or wrong. I'm not going to go into if it's right or wrong or anything.
Okay. Just give me the facts.
Current events. Vince McMahon
was
the CEO. Was the CEO of WWE, right? He was pending an investigation. He's stepping down as CEO, right? Because he didn't want to get voted out by the board members, which he is also a board member, by the way. He's also a board member. And there are other CEOs of other companies who are board members of WWE. I forgot the guy's name, but he's like the CEO of like PetSmart, right? But he's on the board of WWE.
Sure.
So they make the decision on who's going to run the company on behalf of the shareholder, right? So it was going to be
Triple H, but Triple H is sick now. And
no, it was never going to be Triple H. Stephanie McMahon actually left the company a month ago, stepped down from her role because her Triple H was sick. And
but wasn't he like being groomed to be that guy? No.
He was running NXT, which when he obviously, had heart problems and had to retire because of his heart problem.
Right.
Vince stepped in to run NXT, and it's been terrible.
Well,
I'm not going to get into that because I can keep going on for like.
Well, so
hour.
then just one
NXT
more question: Who was
2.0 is terrible?
Who was meant to be a successor then?
There was no actual successor name. So
but I figured there was somebody he was grooming. All right, maybe not. Maybe I'm getting my facts wrong.
The board members would have picked the next CEO, which they have picked Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, to be the interim CEO until pending the investigation.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's not going to last very long because she's married to Triple H, so they're all family.
Triple H is back. No, the board. She stepped away.
To take care of him. Yeah.
To help take care of him. So she was gone. I mean, there were reports that she was terrible at her job, some type of marketing executive.
Sure.
So it was kind of surprising that they voted her to be the interim CEO in the meantime. So, which a little bit, but my point is, all these game companies, Phil Spencer is, on the board of the ESA. Right, that runs E3, but he doesn't run E3, right?
Right.
Particularly. So to see the head clash, competition is king, right? In my eyes, WWF became better when WCW was kicking their ass in the ratings.
Right, because you have to elevate or you die, right? If you can't be on par or beat your competition, you're gone. So you gotta really step up.
So it's going to be interesting to see, like the ESA, like the E3, like you got to have a booth. You don't necessarily have to have a press conference, as Microsoft has shown that they had a press conference outside of E3, across the street, but still had a booth for people to play their games at. Sony has completely left, right?
Yep.
So
Nintendo does their own thing. Even though Nintendo does their own thing,
but they do have a booth at E3.
Sure.
Historically, at least. Jeff Keighley doesn't have he doesn't, at least in the last, 2 or 3 Summer Game Fest. I guess he's still trying to figure out what Summer Games Fest is because he doesn't have a physical presence.
Yeah.
So people can't actually get their hands on games through his system. So, it would be interesting to see how this plays out next year, right? Where, as we get out of the zombie apocalypse, right? We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there, right? You can travel now without having to take a test to get in certain countries like America. So we'll see how it goes next year with the head-to-head. Whoever has the biggest, I'll just say this, whoever has the biggest announcements, I don't want to say wins, but gets that market share, get that mind share. Like, oh yeah, Summer Games Fest was great. We saw the new Halo game. We saw the new God of War game. We saw the new Mario game, right? Because Jeff Keighley, it was at Jeff Keighley's show. But if it's at E3, E3 still will be dominant. Depends on where the big announcements go.
Well, I'll say this. So there is some physical event but it's media only next year for Summer Game Fest. Limited. I'm sure it'll be a small affair. I'm assuming it'll be in a theater, right? Maybe there's some booths set up. I don't know. We'll see what that is. You can do the IMAX thing, which we talked about, right? You could go to a theater and see it streaming if you want to, which, you know, could be cool in a way. But you're right. I mean, the Victor is the one that has the best showing. But to me, I don't care who does it. I don't care if it's Keighley. I don't care if it's the E3. I don't care who it is, as long as I get to see the games, right? You know? And I don't want to say it's better now, but it's made it so that anybody can put together a little package and throw it up on YouTube, stream it, and here's the games, right? And they can do that just with their like production budget. There's no $100,000 fee for stage presence or whatever else.
True.
You know, that's like kind of a benefit to it. So I don't really care where the games get shown. It's going to be interesting to have these two. I think it's basically going to be a split.
I don't think it'll be the same. I don't think it'll be the same like actual time. I don't think they'll be happening at the time.
Yeah, it'll probably be like a couple weeks
one
away,
after
maybe.
another.
Yeah,
I think it'll be like a week after.
Yeah.
If it's head to head, if it's head to head at the same time, oh my god, that's. I mean,
they certainly could.
How that works.
They certainly could, but then you really have to have the better games, because you won't get in the news cycle if it's like, yeah, here's our new
if
Minecraft DLC expansion that's only like a couple of like cow skins or whatever, right? You got to have some like legit stuff.
If E3 has the new Zelda game, or the new Gears of War, or the new Last of Us Part 3, and Jeff Keighley is showing nothing but indie game at the same time, you're talking about at the same time, then yeah, you're correct.
No. You wouldn't.
I think they need to be spread out.
No, because if you do it a week out, then you get the next news cycle, no matter what. Even if it's good or bad, people are going to talk about it at least. So yeah, you wouldn't want to do that head to head.
And I don't think they will for this reason. I think Jeff Keighley will get a little bit from everybody. He'll get a little bit from Nintendo. He'll get a little bit from Microsoft. He'll get a little bit from Sony. And if Microsoft is at E3, they're not going to want to have whatever they give Jeff Keighley overshadowed, or buried, I should say. They're going to want to have it like, okay, we're giving you maybe not our top tier game, but like a big title for us, right?
Well,
maybe not Halo, but maybe a smaller title, but still big because it's a first party title, or gameplay from a title that we announced at our showcase. We want eyes on it. We want market share. So it's not going to be at the same time as E3. It would be the week after. So
here's the other question: who gets the new Hideo Kojima game trailer?
Oh,
right. Come on, because Keighley and Kojima are like this,
especially
and now Phil Spencer and Kojima, because they're basically, I don't want to say funding, but they're providing a lot of the technical hardware and software to like make his game work. Like it's dependent on the cloud.
So this is what's going to happen. What's going to happen? They're going to announce the game at their E3 press conference. Okay.
At whose? At Microsoft's
E3. E3. Yeah. Microsoft's E3 press conference.
Okay.
They're going to announce the game, and then you can see gameplay at Jeff Keighley's.
Well, there you go. That's the answer I didn't want to hear. No, that's the
answer. That's what's going to happen.
I want to see blood. I want to see blood in the streets. I need to see somebody come out with the head of the game and go, "This is the trailer." It's going to be great.
Death Stranding. We're going to see Death Stranding 2, just the logo with Kojima and Phil Spencer on stage. Okay, and then at Summer Games Fest, we're going to see the actual gameplay of
there you go, Keighley.
Sam Porter Bridges and the FedEx truck. FedEx is going to sponsor the game. We're going to see the FedEx truck.
Well then, Jeff Keighley wins. There you go. He wins because I want to see gameplay above anything else.
I'm interested. I can't wait to see how this plays out next year. I will say the only people who win are gamers. because, again, to me, video games are different than any other type of media. The music, movies, people, I hate when people say, hey, we know what movie's going to be made. It's different when it's games. Games needs that pop and we need that hype train. That's what E3 is. That's what Summer Games Fest was supposed to be in lieu of E3 when we didn't have it. So we're going to have both of them now. I can't wait. I can't wait. And you know who's going to get, who also wins? Indie developer.
Yeah.
Indie developer.
That's right. They get exposure.
They're going to get exposure because you got to pad it out. You got to have other games, right? You got to have other things to talk about. And Jeff Keighley is going to be the perfect place where you may get overshadowed by the bigger name games. And Jeff Keighley will have a sprinkle of big name games. And they will bring more eyes to those indie games that he's going to showcase.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about Sega for a second. Sega was teasing an announcement of a new IP, right? That would be announced at E3 or Summer Games Fest, right? It's a little weird that they didn't put this at Summer Games Fest as a side note. Like, why wouldn't they have this? Like, this would have been a Jeff Keighley exclusive.
Well, didn't you say there was already a lot going on? These were long. There was a lot of stuff.
No, I said Microsoft's press conference was too long. That was like an hour and a half. An hour and a half of stuff.
They had a lot of stuff to go over. I mean,
that got overshadowed or buried, and then they had another. We didn't talk about this. We went on the show. They had another press conference, not press conference. They had another showcase.
Yeah. Of
more indie games and extended gameplay.
Yeah. You get a little kind of deep dive on it. That's how you do it.
So, but Sega was teasing for the longest a new game being announced this year and a new IP, and they did not. They did disappoint, but they weren't lying. We do get a new IP from the studio that made Alien Isolation.
All right,
Assembly.
I think you're editorializing on the disappointment part, but we can get into it.
Well, it's called Hyenas. Okay.
Interesting name.
Sort of another multiplayer game, and this is straight from the press release. This game takes sort of a sci-fi game setting where humanity has made the Earth inhabitable, leaving the super rich to colonize Mars. So the game actually takes place on Mars. The players would be on one of the few teams of mercenaries tasked with stealing from billionaires that have taken over the planet. More specifically, you're going to be in teams of 3, but 3 teams of 5 that will work against each other to steal treasures and merch from the spaceship. Which there'll be some times where there'll be zero gravity, and that's sort of like the hook of it.
Right.
Another monkey wrench that makes it a little bit different. It's been in development for about 4 to 5 years. I think they said about 4 years. And rather than forcing the players to kill each other, Hyenas will feature objective-based gameplay with teams carrying the team that carries the most loot at the end being named the winner, alongside fighting, each other. Hyena players will also have to contend with AI enemies known as morphs, just like Morphin Time with Power Rangers morphs. These guards are employed by the billionaires of Mars and will stop anyone trying to loot this. It sounds cool. It looks cool. Personally, I think the hype. I think it's a little bit. I think it's two or 3 years too late. If they would have announced that they were working on this a little bit earlier, I think people would have been a little bit more hyped for it. It got lukewarm. It was a lukewarm reception.
Well,
not to mention this was announced outside of sort of that E3 hype train. Like if it was announced during Jeff Keighley's press conference, maybe would have got a little bit more excitement.
It's possible. I mean, there's the benefit of being in the hype of E3, but like you said, fan reception's not great. So if you don't have a banger trailer, it's gonna get lost in the shuffle. So I think it was good they did it outside of this. It was weird that it wasn't in a one of the press conferences. I agree, but the fact that it gets its own light, people now know there's this game Hyenas coming out. I think it looks cool. I'm about it. I I don't think it's too late because I think there is an interesting gimmick. You know, it's objective based. It's 3 teams of 5, as opposed to like 1v1 teams, right? A team of 5 or a team of 6 going up against another team. So you get some interesting dynamics. It seems like. The thing that I'm curious about is how the gameplay actually looks because we got a stylized trailer. So we saw people in like, Nixon masks and all this like crazy getup and gear, very kind of like over the top, a little bit of the cyberpunk stuff going on in there.
It looks a little like a Saints Row type.
Yeah.
It looks like a little over the top, like a Saints Row.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm down with
like
that.
I said, I'm cool with the art style and the premise. I just think it's, I know it's been in development for about 4 or maybe 5 years, but I just think it's like 2 years too late, to be honest. We'll see if it has like a hook to get you. I mean, look at Overwatch 2 that was announced, right? Like people aren't that
well because it's the same as Overwatch 1. It's too much the same. The only thing they did was reduce the team count from 6 to 5, and that's obviously not enough.
Well, let's see if they can get a big, a player base. I mean, what was that dodgeball game that was announced last year that came out, and I think it was out on Games Pass too?
Oh yeah, no, I actually still play that game.
Really?
I still play that game. Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
City something or other.
Yeah, I just don't hear anything about it. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't really hear anything about that game. So hopefully, we'll see.
It's not lighting up the Knockout City. Yeah, it's not lighting up the internet by storm as I think EA would like, but they're consistently supporting it. They've put out a bunch of new levels and some new mechanics and a lot of new cosmetics for it. So they're definitely supporting it. Yeah, it's just like it's not Minecraft, but it definitely has a fan base and it's solid.
Okay.
Like it's good. It's good gameplay mechanics. Now, is this game going to be around in the next 2-3 years? I don't know, maybe, but it is free to play. You can just go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's shift gears to next gen or current gen, I guess, at this point. It's been hard to get a console, right? Any console. It's been getting a little bit easier now than it was in the last 2 years.
Yep.
Right, or a year and a half. It's crazy. This November, the consoles will be 2 years old, right? So they've been out for a while. I know when this airs, this weekend will be over, but GameStop has PS5s in stock, bundles. It's, PlayStation Direct had them. I could buy a PS5 if I needed it. I already own one, but I went on PlayStation Direct yesterday just because I wanted to buy different faceplates for the PS5, and I knew they were in stock. And it took me 30 minutes to get on. I had to get on a wait list, and I was like, they gotta drop a PS5 consoles. And then when I actually got on, I had a PS5 console in my in my cart. I just did it just to see if I could, right? Make sure bots didn't get it or anything like that. And it was there.
Right.
I could check out. It's no longer there because they're sold out, but I could have got a PS5 if I really wanted it. So, or another one, but the chip shortage, they said still may last until, the end of 2023. So sadly they will be scarce, but it's getting better. And, consoles are in stores. And when I was in Austin, Texas, I showed a picture of the Series S that was in stock, and Series X's are now, readily, in stock, but selling out. Everything is selling out, of course. But if you want to get an Xbox Series X controller, guess what? Apparently there's a shortage.
Yeah.
There's a shortage of Xbox Series X controllers. You can get a DualShock, different colors. That's readily available. I actually, now that I have a black controller, a black faceplates, I want to get a black controller, all right, to match. And I have the sort of dark purple faceplates. That was the first one I got because I said, I don't know how long they're going to be sold out. I want to get a different faceplate. I just to change it up a little bit. Now I kind of want to get a purple controller to match And I need another dock. You know me. I need another dock now.
Of course, you got to be matchy-matchy. Yeah, that's important.
That's me. Yeah. So, I mean, have we ever had like controller shortages before? Like, I've never. Like, this is a first. Like,
not to this level, and not that I can really remember. Yeah, it's interesting, and you don't necessarily think that. I mean, maybe a lot of people don't necessarily realize what is inside of a controller, but there are many PCBs. There are many chips inside of there. There's the motors for all of the rumble, right? And there is some circuitry in there, so it's more than just like plastic and a little bit of silicon. There are a lot more than the old school Nintendo controllers. I don't think it's ever been this bad. I'm assuming that the controller shortage is for the single pack additional, like the Player 2 controller, right? If you want to buy an extra. Because I know that Microsoft secured exclusivity rights for a lot of the chips they need so they could keep manufacturing, so they kind of have a little bit of a heads up. But I guess that's still even not enough, right? Because, they're kind of, they can't get the controllers out. I haven't noticed it, so I don't know. I don't know if you've, like, not noticed them in the stores, but if we didn't talk about it here, I probably wouldn't notice that there was a shortage.
I will say this. There have been times that I've been in GameStop randomly, and people say, hey, they come in for any controller, like a DualShock 4, a DualSense, an Xbox controller, no matter what type of Xbox controller, and GameStop has said, sold out, we don't have any. And I've just thought maybe, I never gave it a second thought, like, they're out of controllers. Well, they're out of everything. Anything that's an actual console, any hardware, they were sold out, right? For the longest time.
Right.
I haven't heard that recently, but I also haven't asked. So,
right.
I just, as anecdotal evidence, but just for me, I've always heard, we sold out. We don't have anything. We don't have, we have a Switch Lite if you want. Like, that's what we got left if you want a console. Let alone controllers. Other than Joy-Cons, they do have Joy-Cons. They still have. If you want those Zelda Joy-Cons from like 2 years ago, I've still seen them in like Target, like in the glass case. So Joy-Cons are readily available. But if you want to get a DualSense or anything like that, those I've seen sold out. But I have also seen them in the store recently, and you can buy them on PlayStation Direct. So I never thought about the controllers being something hard to get, and I would think that would be an easier fix than the console itself, just from the price point and the things that are in the innards of a controller.
Yeah, it's far less complex than the actual console itself, right?
Even though, did you see somebody that made a life-size Xbox Series X that actually works?
A life size, like a human size?
Yes, it's like as big as a refrigerator. Like, they actually made a refrigerator size Xbox Series X that's functional.
Wow, no, but that's kind of that's kind of crazy. Why? Why would they do that?
Because it's the internet and people are bored and need something to do. Yeah,
that's okay. Fair enough.
But no, okay. I mean, listen, I know they have a shortage right now, and honestly, I really want to get a Pro Controller Series 2. I'm afraid if I do that, if I get it, they're gonna announce a Series 3 like the next day, right? Even though that may not be a bad thing, because if they do that, then they will discount the Series 2.
Right. Yeah. It's a different version, so you want to have it for the collection. I mean, it's not a.
I do want to have it for the collection. I actually want to get a white version of the Series 2, but that seems to be scarce.
Right.
If I want to get a Series 2, I would get a. Right now I could get a black version. That's still on sale. It is on sale, but it's still expensive. It's still over $100, and that's $100 is at my max of what I really want to pay for it, but it's still like $120, $30.
Right.
Because on sale from $150, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think like if I as soon as I say all right, I'll do what I don't want to do and spend over $100 for it, then Series 3 will be announced.
Yeah.
So, but I think it may be a problem now, but I think this is going to be rectified soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about a game that I honestly thought was dead. We first saw it at 2017 E3. Talk about E3 games that we saw at E3, and it's a game that's been really hush. Ubisoft has been hush on it. And that's Skull and Bone. And a new report says, or leak or rumor says that we're going to get a gameplay and a release date expected at some point in July, which is kind of weird because Ubisoft said that they weren't going to have an E3 style press conference anytime soon.
Right.
So,
well, you can do like a one-off, right? It's like, hey, we got some news about this one game, just like, Nintendo did it with Xenoblade, right? Xenoblade Chronicles. They're like, here's this one game. Check it out.
I honestly, if we don't, okay, to answer your actual question, if we don't get a Nintendo Direct, anytime soon in the next 2 weeks, then yes, we needed a Direct for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because it's coming out next month. They have to build some type of hype for it, any type of hype, right? So if we do get a Direct this week, then I think the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct was a waste of time. Like they could have just added it to the Direct that they already have. Should come out with. I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think we're gonna get a Nintendo Direct until like July, the end of July.
It's gonna be real interesting what they're gonna show, because we don't really know. There's Zelda, Metroid, but maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe they're not ready to show them.
Everything is not ready yet. They're definitely not ready to show that.
No, Nintendo doesn't want to do that again with Metroid, so they really got to be ready.
But what do you think about Skull and Bones coming out? I mean, it would be its own thing. I would assume, even though what's happening with it, what's going to happen with Assassin's Creed, we haven't heard anything about that, right? Are they going to skip this year and wait until holiday of 2023, or we're going to get an Assassin's Creed this year? Right?
It's been a little bit. Well, I know they said at one point that people were getting burned out with the yearly releases because they were all the same, and they were going to stagger them, right? They were going to do every 2 years and stagger the different franchises to kind of mix it up a little bit, which was a good idea. I don't think they're going to do Assassin's Creed this year. I know we haven't heard about it for a while. Skull and Bones could be the thing to kind of fill that in.
Which is an Assassin's Creed spinoff, kind of, right?
The whole
premise of Skull and Bones, the whole premise of Skull and Bones comes from Assassin's Creed 4, the boat battles, and it's exactly what it is.
You're
it's
a pirate. Yeah, you're a pirate, but it's going to be pirate things. You're not going to be like going on assassin contracts and all that.
It's going to be pirate theme, but the whole premise of Skull and Bones comes from that everyone loved the ship battles in Assassin's Creed 4. Yeah. So they said, well, why don't we just make a whole game out of it? Right?
Yeah, well,
it took a little bit longer than what people expected, since we saw it in 2017 and we thought it would be ready at least for another year or two, 18 or 19, and we didn't hear anything about this game.
Well,
we thought it was canceled.
To be honest, I forget if it's massively online, like a Sea of Thieves, where you go, it's all PvP stuff. I forget if it's single player.
They definitely want it to be their online. They definitely want it to be their online thing.
Did they say that at the time? Because I mean, they're saying now that there's a new vision. So I'm wondering what that is. Is it a complete 180 in terms of the style of game? Is it more single player focused? Are they still doing multiplayer, but they changed a lot of the little mechanics? I don't know.
I could have sworn they said they would have a single player component to it, but it's mostly an online game that you don't get off your ship. I think that's the point that people were a little disappointed about. Like, you don't get off your ship at all. Like, it is strictly a ship battle game.
Well, that's what it was. I think they may have, because like if it was just that, it'd have to be set up in a way to where like now you need to really get into the minutia of building your ship, and outfitting it with guns and doing the flanking and the positioning. Like now you're turning it into like a flight sim, like a flight combat sim, right? But it's gonna be on the sea with like ships, right? You got to manage your crew, like. I'm curious to see what they have for it, but it would have been nice to be able to like get off, go to town, and like recruit new people, right? And pick up, stories and whatever from like the local tavern, right? To go, oh, I heard about there's some treasure over in, whatever in the South Bay, and you go, oh, okay, I'll go check it out or whatever, right? That'd be like kind of cool.
That would have been cool, right? Yeah.
Right. Now, maybe they're adding that in. Maybe they're kind of like expanding the scope, or I couldn't necessarily see them narrowing the scope if it's just you're stuck on your ship, because that's already pretty narrow. So I mean, I don't know, but still excited.
Assassin's Creed is a sort of a spin-off, kind of, from Prince of Persia, right? The original Assassin's Creed game was originally supposed
to be a Prince of
Persia game, and then they sort of settled on making it its own game. And I think Skull and Bones could have been that, right? A little bit much more, a little bit more in depth, if it's done right. And you know what? I don't want to say it could have been, because we don't know what it is.
Right.
But
right.
If you can't get off your ship at all, which I hope isn't true, because there was a massive leak like a month ago about Skull and Bones.
Oh yeah.
People were not happy with what they saw, because from graphically. And just from the point that it didn't have everything that they said it would have, at least back in 2017.
Yeah.
I you know what I want? Okay, I'm gonna take it from a different perspective. You know what I want?
Mm-hmm.
I want Starfield on the sea.
Yeah,
that's what I want. That's what I want.
You want you want Assassin's Creed Black Flag 2. Because that's what it is. You were living the pirate life. You were an assassin. You got your boat. You could upgrade your boat. You could do the ship battles. You want a new Black Flag, which I would too. Because Black Flag, still the best. It's the best one.
Still the best.
Yeah. Because that had everything, right? You could get off. You could learn about hidden treasures. You could go in the forest, do animal hunting. Right, you could do drinking games. Like there was all the social component, and the assassin contracts, and traveling on the high seas. Like, it's perfect game. Just about perfect game.
All right. The last thing on our list. Last week we talked about gaming consoles by state in the United States. There's actually a study. There was actually a study done. Analyzing Google Trend data to go gaming franchise by state, and I thought this was even more interesting than consoles per state. Like, who in each state? How many people in each state? The majority of people in each state, Google, actually Google searching a particular franchise, and that's how they're picking the popularity.
Okay.
Every state should be Super Mario Brothers World, but I digress.
Jesus. Oh my God, Dan.
We're in New York City. Let me ask you,
correct?
If you had to guess, what game you think most people in New York Google?
Well, I have to be honest. I peeped the list, and
you already looked. Oh, you cheated! You cheated!
I will be honest that I would never have guessed this game. Maybe like GTA, maybe Grand Theft Auto. If I had to be honest,
if I had to guess blindly, I would say GTA, but it was Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, I would figure that Call of Duty would permeate the list. And now,
all right.
this
this list, by the way, did you look at like every state?
I am looking at the list now, and I just wanted to clarify that it is just from internet search history data and all that stuff. It's not game sale purchases or online activity and whatever else.
No, I don't think we're privy to actual game sales per state. We're barely privy to. We're barely privy to the actual number. Usually, sometimes they tell you how many has been shipped and not actually sold.
Oh, with like the consoles, sure, but
yeah. Well, no, in games too. There's some times where they say, "Hey, we've shipped this many games," right?
Right. So you kind of have to assume that it's a popular game. Most of those copies sold, but yeah.
Yeah, but just take a look. Like, who is Googling Sonic the Hedgehog in New Jersey?
I think a lot of people are. Sonic's always so. It's a game franchise, and there's the new Sonic game that was announced, right? Sonic Frontiers. So people want to know about Sonic, and there's Sonic Origins, right? People want to see about Sonic Origins.
To also be fair, I don't know when the study was actually done. So this could have been when, before Sonic Origins was actually announced. It doesn't actually specify the date that they did the study.
Sure.
But, who is, Sonic the Hedgehog? Like, who's Googling Sonic the Hedgehog? But just to fly through some of these states. Just to fly some of these. Alaska, Pokemon. And people are talking about Pokemon in Alaska.
Sure.
Arkansas, Warhammer 40,000.
Sure.
California, The Last of Us. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of where that game ends up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I give you that. Connecticut, Spider-Man.
Sure.
If Florida, Assassin's Creed. We just talked about Assassin's Creed, Florida.
Yeah.
Hawaii, they're talking about Pokemon. Halo in Idaho. Idaho Potato in Halo.
Okay.
Master Chief.
Okay.
Right? Iowa and Madden NFL football.
Right.
Kansas FIFA. Like, people must love FIFA in Kansas. That's kind of I would never thought I would have never thought about that.
Sure.
I would actually think more college. Well, yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense.
FIFA is their best-selling franchise out of all of the sports titles. And that's where they make most of their money.
FIFA is also in Michigan. Mm-hmm. But here's a question for you. What's New World? That must be the most popular search video game in Minnesota. Like, what's the New World? I don't know what game that is.
Oh, I want to say it's is it Amazon's thing? It's apparently not great. Yeah, it is. It is from Amazon. It's one of the only games they actually managed to put out with their game studio. And
okay.
Yeah, it's apparently I am not 100% sure, but I think it has some issues.
Wow.
But yeah. It's an open world MMO that Amazon put out, which is surprising because they haven't done much.
Okay.
All
right. North Carolina is Uncharted. People who love Uncharted. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, definitely Spider-Man, Pokemon dominating Rhode Island.
So I gotta say, Uncharted's a little surprising because we haven't had a new Uncharted game for 3 years.
Maybe everybody's watching the movie. Maybe.
Maybe.
I thought, okay, so this came out of left field. Everybody, I mean, we say everybody. Obviously, we're exaggerating. It's not everybody. It's just the majority of the search engine. Utah. Everyone's talking about Far Cry.
Isn't that where Far Cry 5 takes place? I think. All right, it's got the crazy religious zealot as the.
Is it Utah? Yeah. Okay.
I think. It's definitely up in that region. So. That kind of makes sense, and it's kind of like all about guns and whatever, and you're up in the mountains. Like I could see that. Yeah. All right. I could see that.
And you have, and then you have Tennessee. Everyone's talking about The Witcher, apparently.
Okay.
And all 10 people that live in Wyoming Googled Super Mario Brothers.
There you go. And it's funny because some of them, like Texas is just Mario Brothers, but Wyoming is Super Mario Brothers. I don't. Maybe they made a typo, or they are trying to make some sort of distinction between the two.
I think they just forgot to put the world. in the search right here because we don't see
What,
anything.
Super
that's
Mario
like that
Brothers
long.
World?
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
No.
I think that's why.
It's not how that works.
Yeah, I'm convinced. They just left it out of. They left the word "world" out of this article. That's okay. That's okay.
It's it's an interesting cross section. If I had the feet to the fire, I would just say Minecraft all the way, right? Everyone's just looking up Minecraft stuff, right? And I would be wrong. Because I think almost zero states Minecraft is number one. So
honestly, if feet to fire, I thought everything would be Pokemon.
Sure, that's a solid guess, right? It's a solid guess. Everyone's just playing Pokemon all over the place, but apparently not.
All right, that's it. That's all I got. That's all the stories we got from last week. Dave, you have anything interesting happening this weekend?
I got another birthday party this weekend. It is.
Oh my God! Did you realize?
What do you mean? Oh my God! I didn't choose when my friends get when my friends were born. That's just how it is.
You did?
No, I didn't. Surprise! Did you?
I chose everybody's birthday.
Wow, you got some weird ass Harry Potter superpowers over there. All right.
Realize that every day is somebody's birthday.
Choozo birthday. Yeah, that's right. Every day is somebody. Every day is somebody's death day and birthday.
You know what? I'm tying it in. It's my superpower. I'm part of the boys. You didn't know? It's my superpower.
Oh Jesus. So a question actually. Do you know what celebrity birthdays you share a birthday with?
I have no idea.
Okay. Okay, so your birthday is May 30th?
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna look yours up real quick. I looked up mine before. It's kind of interesting. Wow. Okay. You share a birthday with CeeLo Green, Idina Menzel.
Who? Who is that?
You don't know Idina Menzel? She was in Frozen. She's one of the. I think she played the main character actually.
Was she just not in Saturday Night Live? I don't know.
Idina Menzel? I think she was on the show. Yeah, I think she hosted a couple of years ago though. Javika Leslie? I don't know who that is. Tanya Pinkins and Tom Morello, the bassist of Rage Against the Machine, among other things. So that is pretty good. Also, Anthony Fuqua. It's very nice. Colmini. Yeah, okay.
I don't know who any of these people. I don't know who any of these people are. I need to see their faces.
Oh, you would know. You would know a lot of them. You would definitely know Idina Menzel. So I have some good ones. Evangeline Lilly from Lost, and she was the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp. John C. McGinley. Great actor. He was in Wall Street, among other things, and Scrubs. Martha Stewart. Come on now. Okay. Martin Sheen. Michael Early. Okay. Tom Brady. Share a birthday with Tom Brady. Regretfully, by the way.
Who you hate?
Yeah, exactly. I hate Tom Brady. He's a smug little... Well, we'll just go ahead and leave it at that. He's a smug little football player. And Tony Bennett. Among other things. So I got a damn good birthday.
Okay.
I would go to that party.
Winona Judd.
Winona.
What's that? Winona? Oh, you know what?
I like the better. I think you need to go back to the drawing board on that one.
I think it's better the way I say it. Winona.
Winona.
And Big L, rest in peace.
Big L.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Okay.
Jeez, it's been a while. Since I heard that name.
And Miss Menzel, I have no idea who she is. I'm looking at her now. I have no idea.
Just watch Frozen. You will go. Oh,
then I definitely have no idea who she is because I've never watched Frozen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Watch Frozen. It's supposedly a very good Disney movie. Anyway, what do you got going on this weekend?
I'm gonna actually have. I have an event to go to, a work event to go to. And so I have to get all dressed up again. I do. Yes, I do. Like a charity event. And after that, I am just going to play video game. That's it. I'm going to, jump into the PlayStation Premium tier and see what's there, see what I can play some old school games.
Fantastic. I love it. Well, that is episode 322 in the books, folks. And we want to thank you guys for listening to the show, liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.